All right, you guys ever hear of Layne Norton?
Yeah.
Okay, Layne's a good friend of mine. So, I'm going to just go through his career because I think he's actually, PhD's in some kind of hippie amino acid thing. But I mean, I believe he's an exercise science guy. You know, here's the deal. He understood that there's only a finite amount of things you can do with his degree. But you got to get out there and market yourself. He's a full-time coach right now. He does essentially what I don't do it full-time, but Layne is Mr. Uber coach. He has like more clients than he can take on. He has a waiting list. He has so many clients, he turns them to other people. And the reason is that he positioned himself in the industry. And how did he do that? One is, he worked his ass off. And I'm going to get into that when we get into starting businesses, but work is everything. If you guys want to get somewhere in life, it's funny. The harder you work, the luckier you're going to get. So, by working his ass off, he was able to spend that extra time answering that extra email, posting on message boards. Layne stopped at no lengths to brand himself and to get that message out. At the same time, it wasn't all bad. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, he's just greedy. No, he was helping people. He was doing it for free, kind of paying his dues. So, he took it a step further. How many people in my industry, in his industry, have a PhD? Not many. So what better way to differentiate than not only be smarter, but have a degree to say you're smarter than everybody else? There's another point of differentiation. So then he became the prep guru. As he was earning his PhD, he started coaching people, working up that resume, bringing people in shape. He knew what he was doing. Next thing you know, he's a prep guru. Now, he's regarded as one of the best in the business. His results, just like my man who did motocross, right? Is he practiced what he preached, he's done it, right? He got results, and of course, what better way for science than have a freaking PhD? Can't get much higher than that, can you? I don't think so. Can you? No. So that's the thing. There's 3 points of differentiation there, but he's memorable. More of you knew about him than knew about Al Rees and Jack Trout, who are legends in the business community. Does that tell you much about kind of how you differentiate? Al Rees and Jack Trout, to you are just some names on a freaking textbook. You have to be a hardcore marketing enthusiast to know who the heck they are. But yet you knew about him because he did the branding and marketing of his image and utilized his education to differentiate himself. So, now we're getting on to starting a business. Now we had a show of hands. Who wants to start a business? And this might be a good primer for all of you and what goes into business. Okay, cool. There's one, but we actually had it earlier. Can we have another show of hands who potentially one day wants to start a business? Okay, this is the true nitty-gritty about entrepreneurship. Everybody thinks, okay, I'm going to start a business. It's going to be great. I'm not going to work for the man anymore. I'm going to make all kinds of cash. And I can sleep in and all this. And I hate to kill dreams. I'm about to kill some dreams. But most of the time you have a dream, don't not follow that dream. It's just going to be hard to get there. And the odds are vastly against you. Risk does not always equal reward. A vast majority, I believe the last figure I saw was over 90% of businesses fail. A lot of new businesses fail daily. And you're looking at, in the magazine world, it's tremendous. It's like 90, it's huge. So taking that risk, going out on the limb, doesn't always pay off. And a lot of people are successful. But you always hear about Donald Trump. You know how many businesses of his have failed? Quite a few. So, here's the thing about starting a business. Before you even start a business, you got to think of the industry, and if you know that industry, I get a lot of people as an internet, part of what I do is internet retailing. Companies come to me and go, hey, I'm going to start a company. All right, do you have insurance? No. Okay, what is your position in the industry? What do you mean? Well, like we said before with marketing interpersonally, how are you going to differentiate that? And if you're running a service-based business, let's say you're doing physical therapy or any kind of training type thing, why would someone go to you? I mean, it's a very crowded field. I mean, you guys know stats more than me, but isn't exercise science getting pretty crowded? Look, there's physical therapy all over the place. There's a bunch of training facilities. Wouldn't it be pretty crowded right now, the actual profession? Would you know that more than I would?
When you say crowded, you mean
very saturated. As far as there's competition within the industry, within organizations?
Absolutely.
So, you know, for example, the guy I work with in Elgin, his differentiation, he does a lot of this new Z Health stuff, which is utilizing eye movements and blah, blah, blah. Bunch of new age stuff, but that's his differentiating point. So if someone wants to use that new technology, new whatever, they're gonna go look at him. So you need to figure out, just like you do when marketing interpersonally, how you're gonna differentiate that product. If you don't have a position, don't do it. Position and differentiate are everything. Startup capital. So you want to start your own business. You guys know how much it costs to start a business? It's amazing how many people have no idea what's involved. Even if you're starting an intangible, it's just like a service-based business. Just getting the actual place to put it in, you're looking at a minimal outlay of like $100,000 for just a retail space. And that's just for shelving, just things you don't even think about. Just pop out of midair. I always tell people, you don't have 7 figures, don't bother. Unless you find an investor. But then you have a whole nother issue, where then you're kind of working for the man again, right? If you have investors and you have a board, they're gonna want your stuff. So, paycheck. What happens if 1 month you don't hit numbers, you're in the red? Employees get paid, right? Staff, they have to get paid. What if you don't have enough money to pay yourself? What happens? You don't get paid. And it takes a couple years to get out of the red, and that's if you're successful. And of course, the whole 9-to-5 job thing. Doesn't happen. If you want to work a 9-to-5 job, don't start a business. Yeah, you might get Romney rich later on in life. I always like to say that. Mitt Romney's very relevant ever since that new documentary came out. No, but I mean, you might get that level. If you're lucky, you might reach that level of just being rich, where you just chill, sit on an island, hang out. Generally, the people who get that rich normally don't stop working because they're more success-driven than financial-driven, believe it or not, in my opinion. But here's the thing. Starting a new business, even though I've been somewhat successful at a couple of them, was probably the only thing I questioned if it was the right move every day of my life. For example, my brother, not going to throw out any income numbers, he's living a damn good life. He's working for the man. He's probably doing better than me. Nothing's wrong with working for the man. But there is a better reward at the end of the rainbow, because when you sell your company, you get money, right? That's when you get payoff. But while you're building that company, that 9-to-5, I traveled 300 days a year, 5 years straight, missed both of my first two kids' first steps, and hell, I almost ruined everything. Divorce rate among CEOs is extremely high. So, more business BS. What else? Like national health care or not, it's kicking my ass. 37% increase in what our insurance costs will be this year. For the cost of Obamacare, I could buy 2 new warehouses. 2 new warehouses. Literally, I could pay for 2 new warehouses, same size I have now. I can have 2 more of them. But because of that increase, it'll get you. Again, not making a political positioning statement, just saying it's not good for me. Liability insurance. No matter what business you're in, especially exercise, science, therapy, all that, liability insurance. How is insurance when you're doing therapy? I'm sure it's got to be astronomical.
It's about 29%.
Yeah, 29%.
So for every dollar you make, you got to charge 29 cents more to pay for your insurance. Or for every dollar you make, subtract 29 cents to pay for insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Liability.
Yep, and same in my industry. In my industry, you're dealing with a consumable good. In any industry, you're going to need insurance. Obviously, the risk of what you do, obviously hands-on with people, fixing them, your insurance is going to be through the roof. You have malpractice type insurance there. I'm dealing with liability insurance, and again, the more you make, the more they take. Taxes too. Inventory costs, if you're running a tangible, even, heck, if you're running a training business, you got kinesiology tape, you got all the stuff you use, you got the covers you put over tables, your training tables to make sure they're sterile. That's inventory. That's going to run up a huge bill. And of course, licenses. You're going to have licenses. For me, it's GMP. You have OSHA coming around. You have other BS. So,